Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the new Universe 3 ban. And I don't think it's like really warranted for a fact. Like he's not too bad. I think like he's a really good 5 drop, but like that's super late. And what's that? Oh, this is a bad joke. Oh, it's not even my joke. I stole it from someone on Facebook, but I couldn't find the post again, so I can't give them credit. And now I don't know how to end this bad joke. And I don't even have anything in my ear. I'm just touching my earlobe. Yeah, okay, we can go to the next part. So yeah, hey everyone. In like true Bandai fashion, like the one time I sleep in past 9 o'clock in like a month, we get this huge info dropped, and so I like woke up at like 11 o'clock this morning, and feeling good, and then like with a bunch of notifications on my phone saying, "Oh my gosh, they banned these cards," or "What do you think about all this stuff?" So here's my video. I doubt it's going to be the first one out, but it's going to be day of, which is probably fast enough. Maybe not. We'll see. But let's read the official announcement. So, ban announcement. We would like to thank you for your continued support and interest in the Dragon Ball Super card game during these difficult times. We've been monitoring feedback from players, the community, and stores relating certain cards in the metagame since the release of the 3 Rise of the Unison Warrior starter decks on June 5th. While we test our cards internally before release, we feel like the Draft Box 5's Universe 3 cards combined with Saiyan Wonder starter deck Vegex archetype has created an impressive play pattern exceeding our expectations. With our core commitment to the enjoyment of players, as well as the health and diversity of gameplay, we have decided to ban the following cards effective July 17th, the release date of the Rise of the Unison Warrior. This will be Draft Box 2, 153, 151, 140, and 137. So all of the Black Universe 3 cards that have, we'll go over those. But we sincerely apologize to ban these cards on short notice and for any disappointment this announcement may cause. We believe that the Saiyan Wonder Star deck is still an enjoyable and strong deck without using the cards listed above. We thank you for your understanding and your hope, and hope you look forward to enjoying the upcoming release of Rise of the Unison Warrior. All right. So here's the 4 cards that are banned. You guys probably already know all this, and really all of these cards. But if you don't, they all have this permanent of when this card is placed in a drop area from a battle area or combo area is placed in the bottom of your deck instead. And then activating a battle, you can choose one black card with the A cost equal to this card's cost. Send it to the owner's board and play this card from your drop area. So this is a 2-drop, gets a 2-drop. This is a 3-drop, gets a 3-drop. This is a 4-drop with crit, so it gets another 4-drop. And as long as you just put a 4-drop down, and then also analyze at 5-drop, so which double strike and barrier as well. So these are pretty good cards in general. They have kind of some creativity with them, and they try to make a good way to not have these cards get cheated out really easily, right? Because like obviously they have a lot of connection with with overwhelm cards, but you have to put them in your drop area without using your battle area or combo area. And anytime you overwhelm something, they just send all your cards from your drop area to the warp anyway, so you can't do that from there. So on the surface, I think it was a sound like idea for this, and I felt like they probably had enough restriction, but I think Vegex really obviously changed that. One, they got some 3-drop out for free, so you can just play this for free. But they burst 5, which is just such a huge amount to burst. And then also their new Unison card lets you just discard a card from your hand for free. So you can just discard a card with any of these Universe 3 cards, and then you can just put them in your drop area for free, and then you don't have to worry about their permanent. You pretty much get around their permanent for free without any actual cost to you, and then you can just bring them out. So definitely very strong with each other, and in general, like there's just so much things you can do with no energy, right? If Vegex only had a restriction that you could only place like 2 energy, it'd probably still be a really viable deck, which is insane, right? That kind of just shows how good it was. So in my opinion, I think these cards are definitely banned worthy in a lot of ways. And if you guys haven't noticed, I haven't made any decks or any comments about these cards, and at least before this, obviously. And the reason I did that was because we haven't seen a lot of results, and I don't know. I'm more towards you should adjust to these cards than you should ban these cards. That's usually how my mindset is. But also we haven't really had a huge event with these cards, right? Draft Box 3 came out in March, which was when all the events were canceled, and so we have had some online events, of course, but we haven't had any real like huge event, like 100 plus events where we can see this deck, we can see how many like people bring it, and then how well it does in general. And so that's what I was really kind of waiting for. I was waiting for a big event to see how it would affect something big scale. I mean, we also would be getting these big 64 person events online in the next couple weeks as well. So that would be a good way to test as well. But they just decided we don't even want to see that anymore. We've decided that they are broken. And a couple things. One, I think it's big of Bandai to do that. I don't know if embarrassing is the right word, but it's not good that these cards got banned so quickly. They got banned in 4 months, which besides like I think SS3 took longer to ban, and maybe Super Shenron. I think Super Shenron is the last card that was from release to ban was so quick in that way. But I'd say like one, there's 4 cards for these to be banned, and Super Shenron was like what uncommon, right? An uncommon. So like especially to ban like some cards that people have spent money on, I think that's a really tough decision, and I don't think it's. I mean, it's a decision that they have to make because of their own actions, right? That they've made these cards that had some just super strong interactions with the cards they've already released, and now they have to decide that do we have to ban them to make a lot of people happy who don't like facing with them, and but making the people who spent additional money get these cards upset, and vice versa. So I think that was a hard call. I think this is the best call for the community, but I know that a lot of individuals are hurt by this. So I feel I do apologize to you guys. I know I would hope it's minimal. I know a lot of people aren't spending money on cards right now because there aren't any big official events. But I also know that the online events required to have the physical cards. So I know maybe some people started buying these, but I know it's definitely a rough situation for some people, and I just, if people are upset because they spent money on these cards, it's a viable and justifiable thing to be upset about. I don't like seeing people be upset. Like, ban cards affect people on both sides of it, and so you should make sure that you I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just don't be mean. Don't be mean to people who spent money and now have lost money because of this. So but yeah, so that's kind of the quick rundown on there. I think these cards are just kind of busted. And if I was to fix these cards, I'd say that they would need like a restriction to like a leader of some kind. It's really unfortunate how these cards were released in the first place, because one, cards getting released in draft box kind of suck. But additionally, because they were in a draft box, they didn't have a specific leader for the archetype. But this came out in like Tournament of Power 2, if that was a set. They would definitely have like a Universe 3 leader. It'd have like a Universe 3 trait. It'd have like some kind of burst. It could even have Burst 5 or something, but it would have some kind of burst effect. And then from there you can go on and do your stuff, and it wouldn't be broken if it was restricted to a Universe 3 leader, and they could do some stuff too. But it's not, and I think it'd be even fine for this to be restricted to like a universe leader, right? Because there's like the black universe ultimate box like Zeno that could do well, because it also kind of bursts too and everything like that. I think there are some options to be creative with these cards and everything, and hopefully if they decide to kind of revisit these cards, maybe they will kind of errata them in that kind of way. But I think like in the fact that obviously Bandai was very worried that there's this huge new set coming out, especially since they're unisons, right? And in the sense of that, real quick aside, if you think Bandai makes bans to sell new cards, that is correct. And do I think that's necessarily an evil thing? No, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, they want to sell their new cards. And for me personally, I like using new cards, so I'm okay with it. But I know some people get kind of conflicted with that. But that's just my opinion on it, and you should have your own. But of course, they ban cards so that you can play with their new cards, and that makes sense to me. But yeah, they have all these unison cards come out, and which kind of is more of a mid-range. It's more of a setup, right? You spend energy on turn 2 to have this really powerful card, and then if they can just use all these attacks that they have to get rid of these cards, it just kind of makes it so you can't really play unisons as the way you want them. So I think that kind of makes sense as well, just being able to help facilitate unison decks as well. So I think that's probably why they did it as well, like as an emergency ban before set 10 came out. But I also think it was to help maybe people not spend more money on these cards if they're going to get banned anyways. But because if these cards are banned in a month, I would almost guarantee more people would have spent money buying these cards than what they are right now. There are a lot of people who spent money, and now these cards are banned. But if this deck was doing well in the format and more people were wanting to play it, people would spend more and more money, and then I think more people would be upset with it. So, I mean, it's a tough choice, but I think it was a good call here. But yeah, this was definitely a meta-defining deck in a lot of ways, and so you pretty much had to. I don't think it's the most broken deck we've ever had by any means, but they were kind of a deck that you would have to face, and if you had a bad matchup against it, the deck wasn't viable, right? It was a gatekeeper for the format, in the very least, where you were gonna fight at least 2 or 3 at a tournament, and so if you lost against all of them, you wouldn't be able to make a top cut, right? So you would have to be able to combat this deck, and at least have like a 50% win rate against this deck to do well. So and unfortunately for that, a lot of that means just having a lot of very defensive kind of cards and everything, just so you can survive, and which just means like your win condition is not dying, right? It's not winning. It's just you don't die slow, and then you beat your opponent because of that. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on all these cards. We'll see how the format shifts. I think it's a good way to shift into a new format. But the one thing you always have to be careful about is you have to. It's kind of ironic, but when the best deck gets banned, some other deck becomes the best deck, right? And who knows if that best deck is even more toxic than this one, right? If it has even more degenerate strategies. So that's something to watch out for. And it's kind of like there's always a bigger fish kind of idea. So hopefully the format will be good. Obviously getting rid of the quickest and best aggro deck in the format means that there will be more options for mid-range and control styles, which once again I'm biased and I like those kind of strategies. So this is really good news for me. But once again, I do know that some people aren't happy about this decision. So I hope you're doing okay on that, and you didn't lose too much money. But yeah, so that's really it for me. I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see how all these strategies will kind of survive in a post-Universe 3 Vegex format. And also, I don't think that I think this deck can still do stuff, by the way. I haven't mentioned that, but this deck is not bad in any way. It's just on the level of everyone else. So I think that's a good thing as well. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.